Have you ever looked at your grandchild, those tiny fingers, that little button nose, and felt that deep urge to protect them from everything in the world? That quiet thought of, I wish I could keep them safe forever. I think most of us have felt that, especially when a sniffle starts or a fever creeps in. Their little bodies are still learning how to fight off germs, and nothing makes you feel more helpless than seeing a child unwell. That's when the nurturing part of us kicks in and we wonder, what more can I do? Now, as someone who's been through the parenting years, and maybe even grandparenting for a while, you've likely seen your fair share of coughs, colds, and doctor visits. You've probably also heard about all kinds of ways to boost immunity, from trendy supplements to old-school remedies passed down through the generations. But here's something many people overlook. One of the most powerful ways to support a young child's immune system is simply through the food they eat. Yes, really. Food. Whole, real, simple foods that work with the body to build strong defenses, starting from the inside out. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 foods that can naturally help boost your baby or toddler's immune system. No need for anything fancy or hard to find. These are everyday foods that can make a big difference when introduced the right way, at the right time. And even if you're not the one feeding them every day, just knowing what supports their growing bodies can help you offer better advice, spot healthier options, or even whip up a nourishing snack when they visit. Because being a grandparent isn't just about spoiling them with love, it's also about passing down your wisdom in the moments that count. Let's start with one of the most familiar, yet often underestimated, immune-supporting foods, yogurt. Now, you've probably heard about probiotics, those good bacteria that help with digestion. But they do more than just help with tummy troubles. A healthy gut is actually a huge part of a strong immune system, and yogurt helps keep that balance just right. Think of it like this: inside our bodies, there's a bustling little community of microbes, especially in our intestines. When this community is healthy, it helps fight off invaders, like viruses and bad bacteria, that try to make us sick. And this is true for kids, too, even as young as 6 months, once they've started solids. Of course, not all yogurts are created equal. Some of the ones marketed to kids are full of added sugars and artificial flavors. I remember buying a kid's yogurt for my grandson once, and when I read the label, it had more sugar than a cookie. The trick is to go for plain, whole milk yogurt. You can always stir in a bit of mashed banana or a few soft berries to make it naturally sweet and baby-friendly. Now, the second food I want to share with you is sweet potatoes. Soft, naturally sweet, easy to mash, they're a wonderful early food for babies, but what's really special about them is their high content of beta-carotene. That's what gives them that beautiful orange color. Once it's in the body, beta-carotene turns into vitamin A, which helps keep the skin and the lining of the nose, throat, and digestive tract strong, basically forming a barrier that keeps germs out. I remember when my daughter first started solids with her little one. She was so cautious, everything had to be just right. She steamed and mashed sweet potatoes and fed them carefully, 1 spoon at a time. What she didn't realize was that she was also helping build her son's defenses, long before he could tell her, "Mom, I don't feel good." The beauty of foods like these is that they work quietly in the background, day after day, strengthening a child's immune system without needing to shout about it. And here's something else I love about sweet potatoes: they're comforting. Warm, colorful, naturally filling. You can roast them, mash them, or even bake them into little soft cubes that toddlers can pick up and feed themselves. There's something about giving a child a food that comes from the earth, in its natural form, that just feels good, doesn't it? Let's move now to another powerful little immune booster, one you may not expect: lentils. Now, lentils have been a staple in kitchens around the world for centuries, and for good reason. They're full of protein, iron, and zinc, nutrients that help the body produce and activate immune cells. Iron, in particular, is essential for carrying oxygen in the blood, and when iron levels are low, the immune system can really struggle to do its job. The best part? Lentils are soft, easy to digest, and budget-friendly. You don't need to be a gourmet chef to cook them. A simple pot of lentils simmered with a little garlic or mild herbs can be pureed for babies or served more textured for toddlers. I once made a lentil soup when my grandson had a cold, and at first, he wrinkled his nose like kids do. But I added just a hint of carrot and a tiny dash of cumin, and suddenly he was slurping it down, giggling between bites. There's something so satisfying about nourishing a child with food you know is helping them heal and grow. Now that we've explored yogurt, sweet potatoes, and lentils, you might be thinking, these are so simple. Why doesn't everyone talk about this more? And honestly, I think it's because we sometimes forget how powerful the basics can be. We get swept up in the latest health trends, the miracle vitamins, or the supplements with long names. But the truth is, some of the best immune-boosting tools are right in our kitchen. As someone who's seen generations grow up, you've probably known this all along. You know the value of home-cooked meals. You've seen how real food can bring comfort and strength, especially in little bodies that are still learning how to fight off the world. Now, when we think about feeding little ones, especially when their immune systems are still getting the hang of things, we don't always jump straight to garlic. But let me tell you, this tiny little bulb is like nature's superhero. Garlic has been used for centuries as a natural remedy by our parents, our grandparents, and probably even theirs too. And for good reason. It's packed with compounds that support the immune system and fight off unwanted visitors, bacteria, viruses, and all those little bugs that tend to hit kids especially hard during cold and flu season. Now, you might be thinking, can babies really eat garlic? And the answer is yes, in small amounts and once they're ready for solid foods. You're not going to serve it raw, of course, that would be too harsh. But when garlic is gently cooked into soups, stews, or mashed into veggies, it becomes mellow, almost sweet, and still keeps those immune-supporting benefits. I remember adding a little sautéed garlic into mashed carrots for my granddaughter. She was just over 7 months old and had just started trying different foods. I didn't overdo it, just a little bit blended in, and she loved it. No fuss, no funny faces, just happy little bites. That moment stuck with me because it reminded me that babies don't need bland food, they just need food that's kind to their systems. And garlic doesn't just help kids. It helps us, too. It keeps our hearts strong, our blood pressure in check, and our immune systems alert. It's one of those ingredients that bridges generations. You, your children, and your grandchildren all benefit from it. Now, moving on to something a little sweeter, berries. And yes, I know what you're thinking, aren't berries hard to digest for babies? And that's true, especially the ones with skins or seeds. But soft, mashed berries, like blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries, can be a wonderful source of antioxidants, vitamin C, and fiber once a baby is around 8 or 9 months old. What's amazing about berries is that they help protect the body's cells. Think of them like tiny shields, guarding the body against inflammation and infections. Vitamin C, in particular, helps produce white blood cells, which are like little soldiers that fight off illness. And the antioxidants in berries help keep those soldiers strong and alert. Now, I always recommend starting slow with berries, mashing them into a smooth texture or mixing them into yogurt or oatmeal. And always keep an eye out for any signs of allergies, especially with strawberries, which can be more likely to cause a reaction in some little ones. But once they're cleared for those foods, berries become a colorful, delicious way to support immune health. My grandson, who's now a wild and wonderful 4-year-old, used to call blueberries power balls. I didn't even make that up, he just decided that's what they were. And honestly, he's not wrong. Sometimes the best foods really are the simplest. A bowl of soft berries in the morning, or stirred into a bit of yogurt, can do wonders. And I think there's something else special about berries that we sometimes forget. They feel joyful. They bring a little brightness, a little fun, especially to young kids. And when kids enjoy their food, they're more likely to eat it. That's half the battle, right? You know, all of this reminds me how much food is really a form of love. We're not just feeding children because they're hungry. We're helping them build their defenses, teaching them how to enjoy nourishing meals, and giving their little bodies what they need to stay strong in a big, messy world. That's why, even as grandparents, your role is so powerful. You might not be the one preparing every meal, but your influence is there in the stories you share, the foods you offer when they visit, and even the little nudges you give to your children about how they're feeding their own kids. Maybe it's the way you make homemade soup when someone's sick, or the way you remind them to use whole ingredients instead of packaged ones, or the fact that you know how to turn a few simple foods into a meal that heals. These small moments, these little choices, they ripple out, shaping the next generation's habits in ways that last far beyond childhood. And the beauty is, you don't need a degree in nutrition or the latest health trends to do this right. You just need a little awareness, a little patience, and a whole lot of heart. Now, we've talked about yogurt, sweet potatoes, lentils, garlic, and berries, all simple foods, all easy to prepare, and all incredibly nourishing for babies and toddlers. Each of them brings something different to the table, from supporting gut health and building immune cells, to reducing inflammation and protecting against everyday illness. But more than just being immune boosters, these foods are part of a bigger picture, one where we see children not just as small people we care for, but as future adults we're helping shape. Every healthy meal, every moment of care, adds up. And when you approach feeding that way, not as a chore, but as a gift, it really does change everything. You begin to see each bite as an act of love, each recipe as a legacy, and each mealtime as an opportunity to bond, to nourish, and to guide. As we come to the final part of this video, I want to talk about two more foods that are not just good for immunity but also for overall health in babies and toddlers. These foods are often overlooked, but they're full of nutrients that can really make a difference in your little one's development. Let's start with avocados. Now, I know what you might be thinking, avocados for a toddler? Isn't that a bit fancy? And yes, maybe avocados have a bit of a reputation for being a bit fancy, but let me tell you, this soft, creamy fruit is worth the hype. Avocados are rich in healthy fats, particularly monounsaturated fats, which are essential for brain development. That's a big deal, especially during the early years when the brain is growing rapidly. But there's more. These healthy fats also help your little one absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K. And because these vitamins are vital for maintaining a strong immune system, adding avocado into your child's diet can be a great way to boost their immunity, alongside supporting their overall growth. One of the best things about avocados is how easy they are to prepare for little ones. You can mash them up on their own or mix them into oatmeal, smoothies, or even spread them on a piece of toast for older toddlers. The creamy texture makes it simple for babies just starting on solids, too. And, of course, the mild flavor means that even picky eaters might just be open to trying it. I'll never forget the first time I gave my granddaughter a little slice of avocado on her high chair tray. She picked it up with both hands, looked at it, and then took a bite. Her face lit up in that moment. She loved it. And you know, as parents and grandparents, those little moments mean the world. It's not just about the food, it's about seeing them discover something new and healthy. So, next time you're thinking about what to serve, remember that creamy avocado could be the key to unlocking both nutrition and joy. Finally, let's talk about broccoli. Yes, the vegetable that can get such a bad rap from little ones. But hear me out, broccoli is actually one of the most powerful immune-boosting foods. Packed with vitamin C and K, fiber, and folate, it's a nutritional powerhouse that supports not only immune function but also overall health. The vitamin C in broccoli plays a direct role in boosting the immune system by supporting the production of white blood cells, which, as we've talked about, are your child's first line of defense against illness. Now, I know broccoli doesn't always get the best reception from young children. It's a bit tricky sometimes, isn't it? But the trick is in how you prepare it. Steaming or roasting broccoli makes it much softer and more palatable for little mouths. And a little creativity never hurt anyone. You could chop it up small and mix it into pasta or blend it into a creamy soup. And yes, even those with little ones who aren't particularly fond of vegetables can work wonders by making broccoli fun. A little cheese on top never hurt either. I have a friend who swears by a broccoli and cheese muffin recipe for toddlers, an easy, tasty way to sneak in those veggies. I promise you, there are endless ways to get kids excited about broccoli, even if they've turned their noses up at it before. And when they start seeing it not as yucky green stuff, but as something delicious, you know you've won half the battle. As we wrap up, I hope you see that feeding your baby or toddler these immunity-boosting foods isn't about stressing over perfect meals every time. It's about giving them the best start with the right, nutrient-rich foods that support their growth, development, and, of course, their immune health. It's about creating positive habits that will last a lifetime, all while nurturing your bond with them during those special mealtime moments. Now, we've talked about a lot today: yogurt, sweet potatoes, lentils, garlic, berries, avocados, and broccoli. These are all simple, accessible foods that pack a punch when it comes to boosting immunity. But more than that, they provide your child with the building blocks for a healthy, strong future. You don't have to be a nutrition expert to do this. It's all about making thoughtful choices, one meal at a time. And remember, feeding your little one isn't just about filling their stomach, it's about filling their body with the nutrients they need to thrive. I know it can be overwhelming at times. There's so much advice out there, so many things to consider. But I want to remind you that, at the end of the day, what's most important is that you're showing up, doing your best, and providing your child with love, care, and healthy choices. So, whether you're a new parent, a grandparent, or someone helping to care for the next generation, know that every small step you take towards feeding your child nutritious, immune-boosting foods is a step towards ensuring their bright, healthy future. And as you prepare those meals, take a moment to savor the joy that comes with it. After all, food isn't just fuel, it's an expression of care, a gift you give every time you sit down at the table. So keep it up, and know that you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What are your go-to foods for your little ones? Feel free to share your experiences and any tips you've picked up along the way. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more content like this. Here's to happy, healthy mealtimes, and to nurturing our little ones, one bite at a time.